All right then. Well, I guess we'll pray in and then get rolling. So, Heavenly Father, I thank you for this morning. Thank you for allowing us to all come back together on this Zoom call. Those who are not here, ask you to be with them today. Those who are here, thank you for their presence. Lord, I ask that you do a good work in it. Open our hearts to receive what you have for us from this short message today. I ask that you help us use it in our life and help us remember our worth in your eyes and the worth of others in your eyes. Lord, you are good and you are God. Let us remember that in every avenue of our lives. That you will seek us and we have to continue to seek you as well. Lord, thank you and love you in Jesus' name. Amen. All right then. Let's see. Well, I guess to start with, some of you know, some of you do not. New Year's Eve, once the new year hit, we went outside. I was going to shoot off like a little Roman candle type thing, except it has like 20 shots in it. So it was going to go on for a second. Anyway, we go out to do that, and the dogs go out to use the bathroom, and the neighbors, I assume is what it is, shoot off like a quarter stick of dynamite. And our pup, 6 weeks or 6 months old, and never really experienced that before. And so she heard that loud bang and took off. And we drove around because we hollered and looked until we got in the cars and walked around and did everything. I probably got in about a mile and a half that night walking. So that's the way I brought in 2023, getting in a mile and a half right at midnight. But from 12 to 2, we looked and we hollered and we whistled and everything for our dog and could not find her. She was nowhere to be found. And about two, a little after 2, we kind of packed it in, decided to give up, and figured we would resume the next day when it was bright because she's a black dog, so it was going to be more difficult to find her anyway. So we came on back home, and we kind of mourned over it for a while, especially my wife. She's very attached to this dog, and then I was locking everything up, and about 3 o'clock, hear a scratch on the door. Open the door, sure enough, it's her. This is after me continually going to the door and checking to seeing if there was any dog coming. And about 3 o'clock, here she comes scratching. And it's one of those things where it's like super exciting because one, she's not the most genius dog in the world, so I didn't think she would find her way home if she got lost. And yeah, it was just an amazing thing to experience because my wife had said she had prayed multiple times, and of course I had. And so 2023 looked like it was going to start off with a big batch of suck. And turns out it started with praise and rejoicing because God answered a prayer. So, which now that I'm talking about this, the parable of the prodigal son probably would have been better for this, but I'm going a different route. We're all familiar with the 100 sheep and the one straying away. So, being Luke 15, starting in verse 3, Jesus told them a parable. What man among you, if he has 100 sheep and has lost one of them, does not leave the 99 in the open pasture and go out after the one which is lost until he finds it? See, that's where I failed. When he has found it, he lays it on his shoulders, rejoicing. And when he comes home, he calls together his friends and his neighbors, saying to them, "Rejoice with me, for I have found my lost sheep, which was lost." I found my sheep, which was lost. I tell you that in the same way, there will be more rejoicing, or there will be more joy in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who need no repentance. When I was walking the street, I remember exactly specifically where it was. It was just like right down here at the corner of my street, just a little ways past it. And this parable hit my brain. And I was like, we have two other dogs at home, and then we obviously left them here, and we were out looking for our little lost sheep that had strayed away. Um, and that just it really hit me as to if we care this much about a dog. I mean, a lot of people, have dogs as family, which I mean they do become that over time because you're always around them. But I mean, some people take it to the extent of like the dog has an actual place at their table, and the dog eats nicer, more expensive food than what most humans eat, and it's the whole thing. Social media for their animals and everything. It's crazy and fun, but I can't see me going that. But um, still, regardless, we love the dog, and for her to potentially be gone forever, because especially we could hear coyotes yipping in the background in the fields, and it's like, well, if she gets in with a pack of those, then it's probably not going to be good. But we were just concerned about her, and then again, where Jesus didn't fail and where I failed, which shows me his um, his intent to pursue after us, his passion for us, his love for us is never ending. Um, you know, he continued pursuing after his lost sheep. We quit after 2 hours and said we'll pick it up the next day. um, you know, it's just like a Corey Asbury song, that Reckless Love. He will continue to go after and continue to pursue relentlessly, recklessly, whatever it costs, like to find that lost sheep. And how much should that make us feel loved? Because at one time, regardless of our salvation story, regardless if it's just oh yeah, one day it just made sense when I received Christ, or if we were held in bondage to, drugs, pornography, cheating, or whatever the case is, he continued to pursue that lost sheep until he was able to bring it home on his shoulders. And he didn't just rejoice, but he rejoiced with his neighbors and his friends. And, if Jesus, well, if he will rejoice that much over somebody who the world, for instance, thinks is worthless, thinks is nothing, thinks is just a drunk, thinks is just a worthless cheater that'll never be any different. It just shows his love, and it shows our shortcomings. We gave up after 2 hours looking for our dog. Again, we were going to resume the next day, but if that was Jesus pursuing one of us, it wouldn't have stopped. He would have continued, regardless of the odds, regardless of the outcome. And in that, should we, one, not continue to seek his face after he has brought us home on his shoulders? Two, are we not to go out looking for lost sheep? The world is full of sheep without their shepherd. Um, Obviously we know some even within our own circles that are lost and need to be found. And unlike me with dog, we have to be like Jesus and relentlessly pursue those brothers and sisters who haven't yet found their way back home. They may have had a family who grew up in the church, and just never really caught on to it themselves. They may have been a prodigal and, been there and took off in rebellion, trying to enjoy their own life. Or it could be somebody who has never had experience of a real church body and what that looks like. Like we have, even though we're not a physical church, a Geborum church would be pretty awesome, I'm just going to say. But, being that we are the church body, I'm closer with you guys than I am with anybody in my church, period. And it's, I think, always going to be that way. But it's we we are the church body, even though we don't have a building for us to all gather in, and we have to go out and find that missing member. We have to go out and um, bring those hurting souls in. Whether those sheep that are wandering around have been injured, whether they are just lost. We have to bring them back to the great physician, um, and let him nurse them back to health. And that's actually just something that pops in my head whenever we are out, or whenever there's a missing child or a missing person. What's one of the first things they do when they return? They get medical attention. Um, you know, we go out and bring people who are lost to, again, the church body, to that to that physician, so he can go over them and make better what is wrong in their lives. So many people think that they have to get their life right before they go to church. No, you come to church, and that's what gets your life right. Jesus is what gets your life right. So, in closing, think of yourself as a shepherd. Think of those in our lives, in our sphere of influence, in our family, our friends, workplaces, even those on the street, as lost sheep, and use every opportunity we have. And I'm preaching to myself here too, but use every opportunity we have to relentlessly pursue those lost sheep and bring them home. Sometimes the sometimes the avenue of prayer may be our best bet. Sometimes you can actually just straight talk to people and they get it. But in any way that we do it, or any way we have to do it, just continually seek after and pursue the sheep in our lives. So that's what I got for you guys this morning. So I will open it up to conversation.